South Korea military exercises. You said that the U.S. and Japan are conducting the regular military exercises. When will the U.S. and South Korea joint military exercises resume normally?
I don't have an update for you on the U.S.-South Korea exercise regimen. I would point you to U.S. Forces Korea for more information about their exercise regime. I think you know, and we've talked about this many times, just like we're doing with Japan, I mean, we tailor exercises for the capabilities that we want to improve, for the threats and challenges in the region and in the area. And we don't do these things in a vacuum. We don't do them in a vacuum with respect to what's going on in the region and around the world. And we don't do it in a vacuum when it comes to our allies. The Japanese are also our allies. And just like with the South Koreans, we're going to continue to consult with our allies as we move forward with training events.
Indications, North Korea is firing missiles almost every 4 days this month, as you know that. While the
Yes, I do.
this is a six.
You won't let me forget.
60 months. You never know how many they're going to do forward. While the United States focus on the Ukraine crisis and the possibility of China's invasion of Taiwan, and North Korea provocative actions are helping China and Russia. My question is, how is the United States win-win strategy working in response to these multiple aggressions? The win-win strategy U.S. have, I think, way before the former Secretary Rumsfeld had this kind of strategic win-win if other areas together have some conflict, you can win both.
You mean like the old construct of being able to win 2 major wars and yeah. So,
do you have different names or what?
So I'm not sure you mean it this way. I'm obviously not going to preview the national defense strategy, which we're still working on. So when you talk about Secretary Rumsfeld's, win 2 major conflicts, I think that's the construct you're talking about. What used to be in national defense strategies past. We are working on a new one now. We hope to be able to talk about that with y'all a little bit later. I'm not going to preview here from the podium what's in it. It's still in draft. It's still being worked. But the gist, I think, of your question is, why can't we walk and chew gum at the same time? And we can, and we are. Just because we're focused on bolstering our NATO allies in Europe right now, given the worrisome accumulation of combat credible power by the Russians in and around Ukraine, doesn't mean that we aren't still focused on the pacing challenge that China represents to the department. You've heard the Secretary talk about that. He continues to have regular drumbeat meetings, which he chairs, on the China pacing challenge and exploring operational concepts for how we can better meet that challenge. It doesn't mean we're not talking about integrated deterrence, not just in the Indo-Pacific, but around the world. It doesn't mean that, and you've heard me talk about, I don't know how many times over the last few days, the continual threats and challenges in the Middle East. And certainly, we're mindful of the destabilizing behavior by Pyongyang with respect to these recent tests. As a matter of fact, on nearly every single one of them, we issue a statement. And we make it clear that we're condemning these attacks. And we continue to call on the North Korean regime to stop these provocations, which in many cases violate existing UN Security Council resolutions that the whole international community should be signing up to. So, Jenny, I mean, I appreciate the question, but there's a lot on our plate, and we're focused on all of it. Just because right now one issue obviously is certainly capturing the attention of the world community doesn't mean that we're not equally pursuing and focused on other threats and challenges to the country. If you go back and look at the memo that the Secretary issued, within just a couple of weeks of taking office, he stated very clearly his #1 priority is to defend this nation against all threats and challenges, and that's what we're doing. Now, maybe go to the phone.